The first genre of music we got right here is heavy metal, or simply metal. It's a genre of rock music that developed in the late 1960s and early 1970s, largely in the United Kingdom and United States, with roots in blues rock, psychedelic rock, and acid rock. Heavy metal bands developed a thick, monumental sound characterized by distorted guitars, extended guitar solos, emphatic beats, and loudness. In 1968, three of the genre's most famous pioneers, British bands Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, and Deep Purple, were founded. Though they came to attract wide audiences, they were often derided by critics. Several American bands modified heavy metal into more accessible forms during in the 1970s. The raw, sleazy sound and shock rock of Alice Cooper and Kiss, the blues-rooted rock of Aerosmith, and the flashy guitar leads to party rock of Van Halen. During the mid 1970s, Judas Priest helped spur the genre's evolution by discarding much of blues influence, while Motorhead introduced punk rock sensibility and an increased emphasis on speed. Beginning in the late 1970s, bands in the new wave of British heavy metal, such as Iron Maiden and Saxon, followed in a similar vein. By the end of the decade, heavy metal fans became known as metalheads or headbangers. The lyrics of some metal genres became associated with aggression and machismo, an issue that has at times led to accusations and misogyny. Lo-fi, also typeset as lo-fi, low, or low-fi, short for low fidelity, is a music or production quality in which elements usually regarded as imperfections in the context of recording or performance are present, sometimes as a deliberate stylistic choice. The standards of sound performance are present, sometimes some sound quality and music production have evolved over the decades, meaning that some older examples of lo-fi may not have been originally recognized as such. Lo-fi began to be recognized in the style of popular music in the 1990s, when it became alternately referred to as DIY music, from do-it-yourself. Some subsets of lo-fi music have become popular for their perceived nostalgic and or relaxing qualities, which originate from the imperfections that define the genre. Traditionally, lo-fi has been characterized by the inclusion of elements normally viewed as indesirable in professional contexts, such as misplayed notes, environmental interference, or phonographic imperfections, degraded audio signals, tape hiss, and so on. Pioneering influential or otherwise significant artists include the Beach Boys, Smiley Smile, and Wild Honey. R. Stewie Murray, often called the godfather of home recording, Paul McCartney, Todd Rundgren, Peter Ivers, Yandek, Daniel Johnston, Neutral Milk Hotel, Guided by Voices, Sebado, Beck, Pavement, and Ariel Pink. Although lo-fi has been in the cultural lexicon for approximately as long as high fidelity, WFMU disc jockey William Berger is usually credited with popularizing the term in 1986. At various points since the 1980s, lo-fi has been connected to cassette culture, usually credited towards popularizing the term in 1986. At various points since the 1980s, lo-fi has been connected with cassette culture and the DIY ethos of punk, primitivism, outsider music, authenticity, slacker/Generations X stereotypes, and cultural nostalgia. The notion of bedroom musicians expanded following the rise of modern digital audio workstation, leading to the invention of nearly synonymous term bedroom pop in the late 2000s. Lo-fi aesthetics served as the basics of chillwave, hypnagogic pop music genres. The last music genre here is classical music. Classical music generally refers to the art music of the Western world, considered to be distinct from the Western folk music or popular music traditions. It is sometimes distinguished as Western classical music, as the term classical music can also be applied to non-Western art musics. Classical music can often be characterized by formality and complexity in its musical form, and harmonic organizations, particularly with the use of polyphony. Since the last of the 9th century, it has been primarily written tradition, spawning a sophisticated notational system, as well as accompanying literature in analytical, critical, historiographical, musicological, and philosophical practices. A foundation component of Western culture, classical music is frequently seen in the perspective of individual groups or composers whose compositions, personalities, and beliefs have fundamentally shaped its history.